Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Bobby Mo Show. I'm the play-by-play voice of Robert Morris University basketball and football, Chris Shovlin, on location tonight at the Edition Arena in Orlando. Coming up in just a little bit, Charlie Biscaglia, the head coach of the Robert Morris women's basketball team. That's next right here on the Bobby Mo Show.
Parents, sign your kids up for the all-new Romos Kids Club presented by Mike and Tony's Gyros. It's free for all kids 12 and under. Your kids get free admission to all Army football games, select men's and women's basketball games, special game day activities, and a free Mike and Tony's kids meal. Parents also get special ticket pricing for any extra tickets. Register today at rmucolonials.com/Kids Club or call 412-397-4949.
Once again, Chris Shovlin here on the Bobby Mo Show, and my special guest is Charlie Biscaglia, the head women's basketball coach at Robert Morris University. And, of course, when you say the name Biscaglia, it is synonymous with the dynasty that is Robert Morris women's basketball. Now, Charlie is in our studios on campus at Robert Morris University while I'm sitting in the Edition Arena getting ready for men's basketball here tonight. But, Charlie, your season started already, and it was a tight game up in Olean, New York. You fell to St. Bonaventure 61-53. If you will, let's start off by talking about that game and get us caught up on what's happening there.
We're getting a little bit better every day. And, going into that game, we had a pretty good week of practice. And I thought we came into that game, with a good focus. There was a ton of energy, and I thought we worked really hard. Obviously we weren't able to get the W, but we did lead for a lot of the game. We battled back. There was some runs. I think we were probably ahead more than we were behind. But, ultimately down the stretch in the fourth quarter, we got some screws to tighten up there defensively. And even though the ball wasn't going in for us, we definitely needed to tighten up some screws defensively down the stretch. And I think that had a lot to do with us coming out on the wrong side of the win-loss.
You have another big one coming up on Saturday. This one's at home against Akron. Let's talk about tightening up those nuts and bolts and getting ready for that one, and what do you expect out of your ball club against the Zips?
Well, we never like to schedule a schedule that's not challenging. So, starting off with the A-10 and then going to the Mid-American, two strong mid-major conferences. And, we just really wanted to challenge whether we won or lost the first game to turn around here and play another quality opponent. So, we got a lot to get prepared for. Every team has a different style. And we're just really getting into that a lot today and studying a lot of video and putting a game plan together. But we need some response. That's always important, whether it's a win or a loss. You got to be, ready to come back and to go back to work. The same way I always tell the team that anybody that knows our program, that's the culture that we're working towards. Whether we win big, lose big, or win a close one or lose a close one, you got to have that same routine, that same work ethic to come back. And, we have some young players this year. A lot of newcomers, 7 freshmen. They got to be learning quickly now, not just about the X's and O's and the fundamentals that we're teaching them, but, obviously how to respond on either end of the losing or winning side.
We'll talk about your players coming up in a little bit. I just want to emphasize what you just said, though. I mean, your program has never shied away from major challenges, and I'm wondering if you can just look down past a couple of years and talk about some of the major opponents that you face, not only during non-conference, but also in the NCAA tournament as well, and what it's been like.
Those experiences are priceless, whether it's in the regular season. I've been here for a while, Chris, so I can look back, a long time. So, just going back a few years, we played, the ACC, the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12. I could just go back a couple of years back. We opened up our first game at TCU, up 3 after the third quarter, down 1 with the ball with 11 seconds to go, on their floor. Very tough opponent. And right there, we also beat teams like Virginia Tech on the road down in Blacksburg. So, those kind of opponents, those Power Fives or those really strong mid-majors, win or lose, you got to be able to take, I always say you got to accept and defeat what we accept in victories. And it really prepares you, and we really feel strongly for putting together a great non-conference schedule. And I could just go back and ramble off a bunch of teams, especially when we get to the tournament. Last time we were in the tournament playing Louisville, up at the Yum. We fought really hard. They got the best of us. We lost in the first round of the tournament, but we fought really hard. It was a great experience, and we gave it all we could, and we shared the ball well. We played a great brand of basketball getting there. We did the same thing when we were on the stage in the NCAA tournament. So that's really where you want to be playing your best basketballs at the end of the year when you face off against those kind of teams.
It's the Bobby Moe Show right here on the RMU Game Day app. I'm Chris Shovlin with Coach B, Charlie Biscaglia. You've mentioned you've been here for quite some time, and you came here with your dad, Sal Biscaglia, and I mentioned Biscaglia. You say that name, and all of a sudden you think of victories. You think of, the dynasty that's been built with Robert Morris University women's basketball. But you started here as an assistant under your dad, and now you're the head coach. You've taken over this program and haven't skipped a beat at all. Charlie, if you will, do you ever sit back and just kick back and think about the progression and the growth that you've gone through as a coach, from assistant to head coach and running this program?
Well, it's really interesting you say that, Chris, because when when you have your assistant coaches and people that are around the program, like managers, our managers serve us so well, that work so hard for us. Everybody really contributes, and I've been on a part of all that. Growing up as a son of a basketball coach and someone that was coaching basketball for their career, their professional livelihood. You see the hours that's put in, and so it started even before I even officially was on a staff, of just learning and seeing and helping my father break down VHS tapes in front of the TV at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, when I probably should have been in bed. But I just grew up a lot differently than what most kids would grow up around it, and I look back at it a lot because I talk to young coaches when they ask me questions, if they want to go over things, they want to discuss things with me, learn some things that they're asking me about. I always go over what you just said is about the journey and earning your way and moving up with experience and with the old saying was paying your dues, but you don't hear that much anymore. But it's really about just getting that experience and earning, and then being humble throughout the process. I mean, I looking back at it, when I talk to people, I make sure that they understand is that looking at from the outside looking in, people generalize a lot, and they look at me as my father's son, and that that was a situation where my father had me on his staff and everything went fast for me. I started as a volunteer for 4 years here, volunteer, no money, and just working my way into getting the opportunity that was offered to me after that 4 years of work. That was something that I look back on was the best thing for me, and it really taught me how to be humble. It made me live the life. At the time, it was difficult, especially at the age I was at, but I always explain that to people, especially young assistants or people that are looking to get into coaching, because I let them know that process is so important for them, so that way when they do get their opportunity, they truly know what it's like to to be humble and to earn it, and to work their way up through experience and through hard work, because that means a lot for when you get to that spot, that you understand what those assistants go through and how much they're going to work to get there. I think that process is so important in anything you do, let alone Division I basketball.
Yeah, for sure. Charlie, I'm going to ask you about this year's team in just a second, but I have to ask you this. How many different languages can you speak?
Well,
and you know why I'm asking you that, because you have an international flavor on your basketball team and have for a long time.
Yeah, something, Chris. I'll go with this answer. People find it funny. I think I speak about 8, but I know very few words in equally each of them.
But somehow the communication is there, and it equals victory.
Yeah, it's amazing to bring in those kids from all those different countries, because when you look at it on the surface, again, you would think that you have to have an interpreter for every one of them, and I've had that before in the past where we've had to really have somebody around that could really help with the language. I go all the way back to Suhaiti Monsak, where she really needed somebody to kind of help her with the Spanish on the bench. But that was a very rarity. Most of the time, they work really hard to make sure by the time they get here that their English is pretty strong. And we've had some like from Japan and other countries, Spain, sometimes Italy. You recruit them and you let them know, and they got to put the work in before they get here. Even if they make the score and they pass their test that they have to be admitted into the school. We really work with them to make sure they understand that our communication when they get here has to have a chance of being able to happen. And I give a lot of the student athletes credit that have come here. It's a big challenge, to have English as a foreign language, but the support at Robert Morris University that we have here, the international office, our academic advising, it really is strong, and that family environment, that individual attention that we provide, it helps a lot. We're going to teach them how to be organized, how to schedule stuff, how to balance their schedule, how to be responsible and stuff like that. We're going to teach them that as a coach, but it's got to be player driven. And that's what we look for a lot when we bring these over. And they have to have a work ethic no matter what country they come from to come here and play in this program. And so we recruit work ethic as much as anything.
Yeah, they say that music is the universal language. I always thought that sports is too, and basketball is too, and I think it's a common language. There's no doubt about it. All right, Charlie, we're running short on time. I'm getting ready to call this ball game that Robert Morris, the men's team, is going to play at the Addition Arena here in Orlando tonight as you and I chat long distance. You're in our studios at RMU Radio on the campus in the West Hills of Pittsburgh. Tell me about this year's ball club. If you can, give us a quick thumbnail sketch of what it looks like.
You're going to see a lot of new faces. As I was saying before, we have 7 freshmen, 8 newcomers. We're going to play a very similar style of basketball that what you're used to seeing. We definitely have a style, and we're going to look to master what we do. And we're going to have some youth on the floor at times that are going to be out there, and especially in big spots. And there's going to be some tough moments, but there's going to be some really amazing moments as well. And so what we're really looking at this year is, obviously some great new energy, and obviously a work in progress. But we do return some that have played some meaningful minutes for us in the past. We return some that have been major roles in this program for at least a year, yet alone 3 or 4. So we do have some veteran leadership coming back to really help those young players with those moments on and off the court. And so far, I've seen some great responses from all the way from our first practice all the way till we played, just yesterday. So you can see a hard-working group again. You're going to see a group that really just continues to play the brand of basketball we've had, and win or lose, we're going to get out there and really work hard on the defensive end.
We know that for sure. We've seen it, and I know we'll see it again. Charlie, thank you so much for spending some time with me here on the Bobby Moe Show. Want to wish you the best of luck the rest of the way. Don't forget, the women's team will be at home this coming Saturday. It's a 3 o'clock tip against the Akron Zips of the Mid-America Conference, and we'll have that game for you on ESPN+. Adam Gusky and Justin Pyle will have the call of that one. Coach B, good luck.
Thanks, Chris, and enjoy that sunny Florida down there, and hopefully we'll get a W out there. I'll really be rooting hard over here from a distance. I'd love to see a W out there today.
I would too. I enjoyed the sunshine until about noon today, and that's when the clouds broke and all of a sudden we had rain. But you know what? I'll take it. Being in Florida as opposed to Pittsburgh in November, I'll take it. All right, Coach. Hey, coming up next here on the Bobby Moe Show, we'll take a look at scores and the schedule ahead for all of our teams in action here at Robert Morris University right after this.
Want to catch all the action of RMU football and basketball, but your schedule is too busy to commit to games in advance? Have we got a ticket package for you? Our new Flex plan gives you the ultimate flexibility to pick and choose your games and saves you 30% off regular ticket prices. For only $99, you'll receive 12 ticket vouchers you can redeem in any number at the box office on game day. Call the RMU Ticket Hotline at 412-397-4949 or check it out at rmucolonials.com.
Let's get you caught up on the rest of Robert Morris's athletic teams, and we'll go sport by sport, and we'll also review the upcoming schedule for those still in action. First of all, men's soccer, they ended their season at Milwaukee on Sunday with a 1-0 loss. That was in the Horizon League playoffs, and we salute them for the season and all of their accomplishments this year, which is now over. In volleyball, volleyball lost on Friday 3-1 to the Penguins of Youngstown State. They have a 3-game homestand to finish out their season, starting with Milwaukee on Thursday at 6. Then it'll be Illinois-Chicago, UIC, Friday at 6. And then Sunday against Green Bay at 2 o'clock. You'll be able to see all of those games on ESPN+. Football lost last Saturday 45-21 at home to Kennesaw State. The next game is on the road against one of the other top teams in the Big South Conference, the Monmouth Hawks. You'll be able to hear that game. Ray Thomas and I will be on the call starting at noon this coming Saturday right here on the RMU Game Day app. Women's basketball fell to St. Bonaventure on a Tuesday morning ball game, 61-53. A tough loss for the Lady Colonials. They'll have their home opener on Saturday versus Akron at 3 o'clock on ESPN+. Of course, men's basketball, they're looking ahead as they stay on the road tomorrow night. They'll tip off against the Wildcats at Rupp Arena at the University of Kentucky. We'll be on the air at 7 o'clock on the RMU Athletics Game Day app. Tune in a couple of minutes early for the pregame show with Andy Toole. And don't forget, that's that same Kentucky Robert Morris matchup that we're all still celebrating from back in the NIT days in the year 2013 when the Colonials upset them and bid them you-know-where. Of course, Monday, basketball will be at Ohio University facing the Bobcats, a former Colonial assistant coach and now head coach at Ohio U, Jeff Bowles. That'll be Monday night at 7 o'clock. Jimmy Elias and I will be on the call for that one on the RMU Game Day app. And that'll do it for this edition of the Bobby Moe Show. We'll talk to you next week.